What's going on, everyone? Saito here with another boomer tale. I guess for this story, it's this one takes place in, I want to say, May 2010. I probably told the story a few times before, but never actually got it into like a video like on YouTube or anything like that. It's actually the story where I nearly quit playing Smash, like for good. It was the story that basically was like my almost retirement or like quitting of the whole franchise. So back in May 2010 or something like that, I went to this really big tournament. Something like, I forget the exact numbers of the amount of people, but it was a really, really big one. What I do remember specifically is that top 8 was 7 Meta Knights. Like, this is Brawl, by the way. This is back in Brawl when like was the big thing. So Meta Knight, 7 of them, and 1 of me, which was using Samus. And I somehow, I guess from just doing really well or just knowing how to do the matchup really well, I ended up making it to grand finals. And at this point, it's like everything's going well, everything's going great. And at one point, it's grand finals, like bracket reset, like game 5, like, you know, the very, very last thing. At one point, I fire super missile and a charge shot to break break this Meta Knight's shield. Surprisingly, he just let the leg slide. He didn't like avoid it. He just tried to block both of the things on the top of his already like somewhat not great shield. And it broke. We're on the opposite ends of Lilac Cruise. Like, I'm on one end, he's on the other end, and it happened. I'm like, all right, there we go. He's at over 100 something like percent, and I'm at like almost nothing. Like, I think I was at like 10 or something. So I'm like, all right, it's over. Game is done. I just won this tournament. So I run over to get to him, and I'm like, all right, I got a lot of time to get ready for this. So I run over to him, and I'm like, I'm a little off in terms of my spacing, so I step a little bit away, and I flick my stick towards him and press A for a smash attack. And what do you think happens? I trip, because Brawl is well designed like that. So I trip, and just enough time had passed by that by the time I find my Samus recovers from the trip thing and gets up, he's done his like shields break stun like dizziness thing, whatever. So he recovers and does, you know, the usual Meta Knight bullshit, up air, shuttle loop, freaking kill bull crap, and I die at like when I should have won that entire set. So I took that controller that I was using that day, and I smashed it on the ground. Because at that point, it's like, really? After everything? And that's actually where, if anyone's ever seen, I've said this quote on things like my Twitter bio, or I've said it on a few other videos where I say, like, the full quote was, fuck this, I'm going back to Virtua Fighter. But I sometimes shorten it down to just, I'm going back to Virtua Fighter. Where that's where it happened. Where I was like, I am so tired of this game, and it's like random bullshit. And I mean, it was literally randomness, like literally 1% out of whatever. I think it was like 1% chance out of every like time you go for a smash attack, go for a start a dash. I think it's things like that, like little things like that. The 1% chance it happens, like really of all things this happens. I was like, I'm done. I'm going from this game's broken bullshit to the most like polar opposite game that's like considered like the what's the word for it? Like Virtua Fighter is looked at as like the picture perfect, most balanced fighting game ever. So that's why I was like, I'm going to this and never coming back to Smash Bros. And that's the thing I was. It's like from 2010 all the way until Smash 3DS came out in 2014, I didn't touch anything of the brand. Like, no casuals, no nothing. Like, did not touch anything that said Super Smash Bros in the name, period, ever. Until 3DS came out, and only because of 2 reasons. Because Rockman was revealed, and I was like, oh my god, fucking Rockman, of all things. And then the second thing was because Sakurai during E3 of that year was like, whoa, the best character during our testing right now is Samus. And I'm like, wait, so I'm gonna go from playing this character who was like bottom 5 or something, at least at the time of the meta, Samus was considered bottom 5. I don't know what she was considered later on in Brawl's meta. I don't know what she ended up becoming or whatever, because at the time some of the meta was different than what it is now. Like, ice climbers weren't a thing during the meta at the time. Diddy Kong wasn't as prevalent. Olimar wasn't as prevalent. I know, like, back then the top 5 or top 5 of Brawl meta was like obviously Meta Knight. Then there was Snake, Falco, Marth, and like a 1-hour character. I forget exactly what it was. Like this is different than what it is now. What more modern meta is now. But like Samus was bottom 5 back then. So this here is bottom 5 to apparently top tier. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking play this game again. Then Smash 4 comes out, and I would argue she was bottom 10 in beginning of Smash 3DS era, because like a lot of her stuff was just not functioning, and still isn't functioning now in Ultimate. But like compared to how she was in launch 3DS, yeah, yeesh. So yeah, that was my story of how I almost quit playing Smash competitively or even casually, like cold turkey, because of Brawl's bullshit. But yeah.